Hi there. My name is David Taylor. I am a board director at the Institute of Accountants and Bookkeepers, and I'm delighted to say that I'm here with the new CEO of the IAB, Sarah Palmer. Sarah, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
So you're stepping into big shoes, I gather.
Very, very big shoes. Really thrilled, really thrilled. But it does feel like a natural progression. I suppose I've been the COO now for 5 years, and it's not like we're losing Janet at all.
Right.
So Janet's obviously moving into a different role. She's now our global president. Our international strategy has increased hugely. So I suppose really I'm going to head up the UK. She's going to be looking after our international relations. So
Exciting.
we've still got the two of us here.
Brilliant. No, we're very lucky to have both of you. And obviously becoming new CEO, we've also developed a new business plan, haven't we, with some really strong visions and themes for the future. Did you want to talk about a few of those themes?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of last year, we spent quite a lot of time on our business plan and just clarifying our thoughts for how we want to take the organisation forward for the next few years. Education is really, really core to who the IAB is. So that is our overarching theme, if you like. But through those conversations, we really drilled into what we stood for and how we wanted to support people going forward. And we had 7 key themes that constantly came up. So all of our work is going to be based around that. So some of those themes would be globalisation, social impact, data, compliance, tech. So very proactive, but overarching or education. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's a very fast-changing environment, as we've seen over the last few years. Certainly, finance is no different from any other industry or profession which is being affected by things like artificial intelligence and globalization and digitization particularly as well. Would you say, if we're looking at those some of those themes you've just talked about, is there one thing which you think espouses a few of those themes in one go?
I suppose, yeah. So if I talk about anti-money laundering,
yes,
because obviously that's a huge part of what we do, but that touches on several of those topics, so education, data, compliance. So with that in mind, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've invested hugely in a new IT platform called AML Complete. Now that has been a real game changer, I think, for us and hopefully for our members. We're getting some really, really positive feedback. But that has been, well, there's several reasons for why we did that. Primarily as a tool for our members so that they can remain compliant with their anti-money laundering duties. For us, having a platform that we can share with our members gives us an enormous amount of insight into our members' work, so therefore we can really target the resources that we have for them. So the education or the education around anti-money laundering, so it's very targeted and very specific, and that comes direct from our learning. Also as a professional body, we have insights too that we're now able to share. So it's not just a generic platform, there's a lot of thought that's gone into that. For our members, hopefully it really, really empowers them to be able to manage their business very, very well. There's particular parts of the software that will help them identify risk, so they can again direct their own resources to make sure that they themselves are really, really compliant. The other real motivation for us for doing this as well was anti-money laundering is now becoming a cost of business, and there is additional overheads for financial professionals operating in this space. So obviously now we can offer that as free. So we really want to take advantage of our not-for-profit status, which I think is really important, because I think otherwise people can get drawn into using softwares that become ever more increasingly expensive and adding more and more overhead to their business. So hopefully that's a really good thing for our members. I think it's fantastic value that that's all included within your membership. So not only do you have the software support, you have all of the team support here. We're pumping out information all the time through our coffee mornings and the emails we sent out. Our website's constantly updated, so there's an awful lot of information going out.
And do you think people are understanding the importance of AML, not necessarily our members, but throughout the country and in professions. I mean, I saw just recently a law firm in London got, I think, a £500,000 fine for not being compliant. Is AML a thorny issue? How are people treating AML? We know, and you've quite rightly said, it's incredibly important, but how are people receiving it on the ground?
I get mixed messages.
Right.
I feel that there's an awful lot of pushback in terms of, oh my goodness, it's another regulatory requirement, it's another burden to the business. Do I really have to do this? But yes, you do. You do have to do that because the regulators, any regulator, any modern business now has got to do with regulators.
Yes.
You know, we've got GDPR,
Yep.
the ICO are hard hitters,
Yep.
Anti-money laundering, the FCA is an incredibly hard hitter. So if anything we can do to support those businesses to become compliant and avoid those big fines, I think is really, really important. So there's mixed messages. I think people see it as a burden, but actually they're just going to have to take it on the chin. And it's a price doing business in the modern world.
Well, it's an interesting one. And how would you say our members have reacted to the AML Complete platform? Because we started rolling out that last year, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It started in June.
Yeah.
So our full membership should be on the platform, well, by May.
Yes. Yeah.
So we took a year to roll this out. We've had some incredibly good feedback. I think I do acknowledge that there is that initial time spent, but it's time invested in your business so that you can be really, really quite effective in this space. And clients expect business professionals to be asking questions around the AML.
Yes.
I think as a client onboarding to a business, it's normal to be asked these questions now. So if you're not asking those questions, it's almost,
absolutely.
you can start separating the wheat from the chaff
Yes.
type thing. But no, in general, we've had some really, really positive feedback. Those people have really engaged, have flown, love it. They're really able to progress in their business. But then I think also anyone who runs a business well, they absorb this as just something else.
No, you're absolutely right. I think if we cast our minds back to when Y2K came in, over nearly a quarter of a century ago now, unbelievably, GDPR, as you mentioned, GDPR, a lot of people saying, GDPR is a problem and data is a problem and everything is a problem. But as you said, what seems to be the case with certainly our membership, the ones who've had an excellent inspection in terms of their AML, they are very, very well run businesses anyway, and you suspect that they are doing everything right anyway, and actually AML shouldn't be an issue because they're already running their business well. It's part and parcel of running a business now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point you make.
And in terms of, so we're now progressing all our members onto the AML Complete platform. So, but as you say, by the middle of this year, all our members will be on one platform. And are there any sort of more developments in the pipeline? Where do you see AML going in the future over the next few months and years, certainly with the IAB?
We have a real strong focus on compliance, and I suppose the software part is only one part of what we do. We have a fabulous team, always producing new content. Jodie heads up our professional standards team. We have a lot of exciting content going out with that. We're also very involved with a lot of the Treasury and HMRC. Right. So a lot of the information that we can share with our members comes directly from the top, if you like. Yeah. It's going to become more, more onerous, I suppose. But from our perspective, we're doing as much as we can to sort of mitigate that risk for our members and give them as much support as we go. It's not something that's going to go away. No, that's useful.
And I think that's always been the philosophy of IAB anyway. It's helping our members, educate them and upskill them so that they can run their businesses more effectively and more efficiently. I know that you've been having lots of high-level meetings with people in the country, and I think it would be fair to say that people are seeking you out for your opinions on a range of different issues, not least AML.
That's great. Yeah, no, there's several consultations that's going on at the moment that I'm involved with. One in particular is of huge interest, which is regulation of the industry.
Right.
I think that impacts across the board. I think that's really, really important. I want to get the acknowledgement with government of how important our bookkeepers and accountants are.
Absolutely.
And I don't think they get the recognition that they do genuinely deserve and should have from government. So for me, that's a real passion project, as well as something that I'm heavily involved in. So that's important. There are several other consultations going on. How anti-money laundering is, I suppose, structured in the UK is something else that's being discussed at the moment. So as we find out more about that would be interesting. But yes, again, we've been key to some of those conversations too. And that's ongoing.
Very much you're retaining a sort of the campaigning zeal which Janet has created within IAB.
Yes, so I picked up the baton.
No, excellent. Very, very pleased to hear it. Well, Sarah, that has been fascinating. Thank you very much for that. We're going to be having monthly sessions with Sarah, and so we're going to be talking about a range of topics which affect our members and certainly accountancy and the bookkeeping professions. I hope you've enjoyed this session today. Do engage with us. Sarah is very visible on social media. We're also available on all the channels, as you might expect, and we very much look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you, David.